Welcome back to Fireside Fitness. I'm Rochelle, your host, and today I'm joined by Mike Ferreira. Mike is the president of Gym Launch, the fitness industry's leading business coaching company, and a gym owner himself since 2007. Gym Launch has helped over 6,000 gym owners across 22 countries build more profitable businesses and helped thousands of gym owners take home more than six figures a year. Mike hasn't just studied the fitness industry, he's lived it. As a gym owner himself, he's came up through Gym Launch as a client before becoming a coach and eventually joining the executive team where he now leads company-wide strategy, sales, and marketing. So if you've ever wondered what separates the gyms that thrive from the ones that don't, Mike knows the answer and he's here to share it. Mike, welcome to the show.
Yeah, excited to be here and excited to get into it in any way that is fun and helpful for your audience. So thanks for having me.
Absolutely. It's an honor. So I want to start right at the beginning with your own personal journey being a gym owner and then coming into this role at Gym Launch. I think it's absolutely amazing that you came here as a client, started kind of at that bottom point, working with the company, and then now you're the president. So walk us through that journey. What problems specifically did Gym Launch really solve for you that you couldn't solve on your own? And how did that really, I guess, shape your evolution through the company?
Oof. All right. So there's a lot to unpack there, right? Because like the whole journey goes back to now I think about it. I opened my first gym when I was 26 years old, right? So now 44. It was a while back. It was a while ago. And so 18, almost 19 years ago, I didn't follow like the high school to college route. Like my family, it just wasn't a thing. Wasn't in the cards for me. And so I grew up doing, martial arts. I was that guy, that, young kid teaching all the classes and stuff like that. So I was in the gym world, memberships, running sessions very, very early on and kind of got a feel for, what makes a business tick and, all that stuff. And pretty early on, I saw families coming in as the young kid running all the classes. And I saw families coming in and, dads being able to, hang out with their son at the belt test. And then I would also hear stories of like, this dad couldn't make it, that mom couldn't make it. And a lot of times it was the entrepreneurs, it was the business owners, right? That seemed to be happy and able to make the, whatever. And so I had this perception of like, I want to own my business. I want to own my own business one day. And so just so you know, like that's kind of what spurred that. And so at 26, I had an opportunity. I took over a failing gym, struggling at the time. I thought it was a good idea at the time. I have different thoughts now, but anyway,
It led you here, right?
Yeah. So, hindsight's 2020, but, so I took over this kind of struggling martial arts studio. And for the first 10 years, all right, it was just work really hard, do all the things. And it was, I kind of got into this mode of like this hamster wheel feeling of like, the more I worked, the more hats I wore. And while I did kind of okay from the perception of like a lot of, friends and family and different people like, oh, you own your own business. For me, there was this constant like ceiling on just where I could go with it. I found myself not being home as much. I found myself, for all the reasons that I opened the business, I could never quite achieve like that, right? It was like always just a little out of reach. And I just remember like I opened this for freedom, right? Like I had this vision of what entrepreneurship was. And it's like, I built a jail cell for myself. I couldn't get out of.
Yep.
And sure, there were certain things to like really like about it, but I have this vivid memory of being at the front desk in my gym, and I built this thing so I could have the freedom. And I saw my son's first steps on my phone, right at 10:15 at night, because I had to still be at the gym. And that was like one of those just kind of like vivid memories of moments that was like something has to change. And so for me, what joining Gym Launch did, just to kind of go back to your, original question of like, what problem did it solve for me? The business itself, like we were acquiring customers, we were keeping customers, the business was moving, but it wasn't serving in like building the life that I wanted, right? Like my savings account wasn't moving at the rate I wanted to, but more importantly, I didn't have the quality of life as an owner that I thought would be there. And what happened was when I joined Gym Launch, it was really understanding the math and the model behind the business, like the economics of business, so that I could engineer the business to serve my life, right? And I don't want to say that from a selfish standpoint. Really, you engineer the business to serve customers at a higher level, to be more profitable, to be able to hire a talent, and to be able to not have to do it all yourself. right?
Hmm.
But what happened afterwards is I built a healthier business because of the business economics and the way that we price things, the way that we market, the way that we retain customers. It was able to afford me, kind of the lifestyle I wanted, and of course the revenue and the profit followed too. But for me to kind of speak more tactically and specifically, I think there's a lot of gym owners that get in, they have early success, and then there's a ceiling,
Yeah.
right? And a lot of times it's like maybe when the inflows match the outflows. I'm signing up 20 clients are leaving. If you're a health club, maybe it's, different numbers. And fundamentally what happens is every gym has a ceiling that they hit. And it's all because the model and the metrics and the way the business is operating just needs an update.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
And so for me and for the clients here at Gym Launch, what we do is we look at the metrics, we look at the model, we look at the math and say, how much does it cost to acquire a customer? Can we drive that down? Can we drive total customers up in the door? Can we reprice so that you're more profitable? And can we pull a couple levers in the business so that people stay, pay, and refer, and overall work through all of the core functions of the business? And so for me, just to kind of wrap it all up, working with Gym Launch made it much more, it just gave me clarity on the sequence of events and what to focus on first, second, and third in a time where I felt I was kind of doing everything at all times, if
Yeah.
that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's a great answer, Mike. And thank you for sharing such a personal story as well. I think that will resonate with a lot of gym owners because I feel like you're so right. The entrepreneur story or the dream that is sold to you is, you're going to start your own business or you're going to take over this business. You're going to have complete freedom, control over your schedule. And then suddenly you're working so much just to keep things going, that hamster wheel that you burn yourself out, or for some people, they can't even continue at that point because their time and energy has become so capped. And so having those systems, like you said, just giving them that step by step really is so valuable. And that's why I'm really excited for this conversation today, because we're going to get into all those little nitty gritty details. Systems,
I went
pricing.
A little deep on that one.
Yeah, we're going to go deep on that one because I think lots of coaches, sell, and this is what really makes Gym Launch different, is they're giving you those practical steps, and that's huge. So I want to talk a little bit more about Gym Launch, just kind of the team, working with you guys as a company before we get into some of those systems and more into the tactical strategies. But for people that maybe this is their first time coming across Gym Launch, which I think would be rare because Gym Launch is obviously so well known, but let's say they're just hearing of Gym Launch for the first time today. We don't know that it's so much more than just coaching. It's really helping gym owners, like you said, transform their lives, build a life and a business that can actually sustain that, and help them reach more people and transform client lives as well. So for someone who is coming across you today for the first time, how does Gym Launch actually work with people? Is it like a group coaching kind of program? I know you're working on with them one-on-one as well. How does that relationship actually look?
Yeah, I mean, our overall goal is just to help gym owners grow their business, right? In a way that doesn't paint on their picture, so to speak, right? It's a way that they can grow their business, but still have it be uniquely theirs. Okay, grow their brand, grow their following, and make a bigger impact. I think a lot of gym owners got into it because they want to make an impact in people's lives and in their community, right? But if you don't have a sound business, you really can't, right? If you don't, you could be the best trainer, you could be a thought leader, you could be the absolute, most in just the most effective in any kind of space, like body transformation, training, anything like that. But if you can't actually reach your market, right? If people aren't aware of your business and aren't interested in walking in the doors and having conversations with you, you're limited on the impact you make. Right. And so at the very, just the simplest form, we help gym owners grow. When you look at what's out there available to gym owners, there's a lot of like solution-based companies, right? There's
it's overwhelming. Everything out there.
There's so
many coaches and
oh my God, it's like I open my, I don't know about you guys,
same.
Like,
I get an ad every
Instagram.
day as a personal trainer myself. I get ads all the time. Yeah.
And I'm going to apologize to everyone in the audience because my face is probably some of it, but like,
we love it.
At the end of the day, here's what's different, right? Is that there's a lot of different solution-based companies. There's websites, there's lead generation, there's flooring, there's equipment, there's software, and all of those independently do kind of make up the business. But when you're looking to grow your business, there's a couple things. You got to be careful who you listen to, right?
Yeah.
Right. You kind of have to guard your ears. It's like, do you want to take, financial advice, wealth advice from somebody that actually isn't wealthy themselves, or, fitness advice from somebody who doesn't go to the gym? Yeah. And so I think the big benefit of working with Gym Launch is that you are truly working with talking to, have access to gym owners, right? That are business coaches, really, that have both built and scaled gyms, but
Mm-hmm.
also worked with thousands and thousands of all different gyms from all different walks of life, modalities. And so we've been there, we have the scars. And so we can help kind of collapse timeframes,
Yeah.
right? To be able to move your business forward. Now, on a more like, what does this mean? What does it look like? Kind of level, I'm going to simplify it. We have two sides of the house in Gym Launch. We have an in-house agency, right? Where
Yep.
we, run ads and get you leads and do all the marketing for you, right?
Yep.
But also it's the business coaching paired with it,
Yep.
right?
100%.
That changes everything. Because what'll happen is, and I was a gym owner, so I'm kind of speaking from this. A lot of gym owners will either run ads themselves, do some marketing, hop from agency to agency and be like, the leads are weak. It doesn't work. Like, but it's usually because there was a component missing so that part of it just didn't materialize into new members revenue or profit. And what you really need is the right business operations to pair with the right marketing plan. And so when you can do it both together, I think that's why clients of Gym Launch typically grow faster and grow bigger businesses than others, because they kind of have the full picture. And I'll just relate it real quick to, if you want to get to stage, or you want to, lose weight, or you want to whatever, you could do it through diet, you could do it through exercise, but really, you really shouldn't do it through one. You have to have both.
You have to have both.
And it's kind of a similar, kind of analogy there, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that makes total sense. And we'll come back to that, because I do want to come back to a little bit more about that kind of agency side, because I know people will be very interested in this after listening to that interview. But we'll come back to that, because I want to start kind of getting into some of more of the mindset of running a gym or studio while I have you here, and some of like the mistakes that people make early on. Because I know you guys have worked with a lot of people who are just opening their space right now, or about to open a space. So when you come across these 6,000, I know, as a whole collective, a team that Gym Launch has worked with, these 6,000 plus gyms, what is one mistake, if you could just pick one, that you see owners make over and over, and something maybe that they pour money into that has almost no impact or no real impact on their growth or profitability long term?
Okay, I'm going to break the rules for a second. I'm going to say 3 real quick, if
okay,
that's
I'll
okay.
Let you. I'll allow it.
All right. So number 1 is not knowing your numbers. Okay. Just not knowing your numbers, how many leads are you getting? What's your schedule rate? What's your show rate? What's your close rate? Where's revenue at? What are your margins? Like all of those things. And what's crazy is, I can't tell you how many times I've talked to gym owners, and our team has talked to gym owners where they say, well, I don't like math. I'm not a numbers person, right? Yeah. But it's like, hold up. You measure your macros. Like, you literally track macros.
Yeah.
Right? You've got numbers, like you have a science to you've engineered the way you look and feel through math, right? And so it's a belief that's actually just fundamentally not true. But what happens is we tell ourselves certain things, we end up believing it, and then it changes our behavior.
Yeah.
And so a lot of gym owners, a lot of business owners in general will tell themselves, I'm not a numbers person or whatever, stick their head in the sand. And really, there's that saying, like, the magic is in the work you're avoiding. Like, when you lean into the numbers, just like with your macros, just like with tracking your, anything from exercise, whatever, that's where you're going to be able to actually understand where the leaks are, where the constraint is, where's the opportunity in the business. So, there's plenty of content on YouTube or whatever about like, what numbers are we talking about? But like, number 2 is just sequencing. And what I mean by that is there's a lot of things to get done in a business. There's a lot. Right. And you can't do it all at the same time. Right. Yeah. Thinking like kind of working on everything at the same time, thinking everything matters. Right. And if at the end of the day, like, everything matters, that means nothing matters. And so just being able to solve work on the highest leverage thing. Yeah. Right. And being okay with letting some, fire still happen, or ignoring some parts of the business, or saying, I'll get to that later, because you're allocating your time, your resources to the most important things. Yeah. That's really important. So understanding sequencing. And the third one I'll say is so common, and I made this mistake several times, which is trying to step out too soon. Yeah. Happens all the time. So gym owner, excited to open a business and be the person, get in there, do the thing. And then real quick is like, I'm going to just, replace myself, step out and be an absentee owner. That dream, like, there is a time and a place for that, but you have to earn it.
Yeah.
And there is there are like seasons to move through,
Yeah.
and it ain't quick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I have I knew a guy years and years and years ago. His family owned a big grocery store chain here in the Northeast, and his parents always wanted him to like come in and run the business, and he was like, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. And then, years and years later, he came back and he's like, all right, Dad, you know what? Like after doing this career, that career, I'm gonna step back. I'm here, right? So
Yeah.
he expected to kind of like come in day one and then be like a boss. And so he told me the story. It was really eye opening. His dad's like, all right, you start Monday. So instead of driving to the corporate office, he drove to the local location, and he gave him like an apron, and he goes, cool, you're going to bag. And then for, a couple hours later, he's like, what do you mean? He's like, you have to learn every single function of this business if you ever want to be a leader worth following.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Right. And I was just like, I never forgot that.
Yeah.
And I think it's just really important for anybody that wants to be able to step out, is you really do have to become a leader worth following. You have to know every function of the business,
Yeah.
right, as well or better than the people you hire for. Yeah. I'm not saying you don't want to hire people better than you,
yeah,
but you've got to understand all the workings within the business, right?
Yeah.
So
that's interesting that you say that too.
There's three.
that you find that a lot of gym owners on that third point specifically are they want to step out too fast, like maybe faster than they're ready to, without laying the groundwork. Because a lot of the gym owners I find too, just from my personal experience working in fitness industry, is that sometimes it's the opposite, where they should step out and they are so in the business, they're training clients, they're teaching classes, that they're not running the business, and the business is starting to suffer. True. So how would you, if we just kind of think about that person on the other side for a second, what advice would you give to that person who's maybe having a really tough time doing the step away? Let's say like maybe they are ready and it's getting to the point where they have to, but they're struggling to let go of some of that control.
It's tough. It's tough, right? Because we were just talking about this on a call with the team earlier. There's a lot of gym owners who are like, nobody can do it as good as me.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
And for a period of time, that's actually true, right? Because you built the thing, you're familiar, whatever. But if you want to have a big impact, you want to grow the business, you can't do it alone, right? There's just a cap on your time, your attention, and everything like that. And the truth is, you'll make a bigger impact, and you will be able to find people that can do the thing better than you in time, right? Like across Gym Launch right now, there are people in every single department that do that thing like far better than I ever would. And that's the goal, right?
It's a great team.
The gym, I still own a gym. I didn't plan on it. It just happened that I did. And that team is far better, right? Running the day-to-day and everything than I ever was. But it's just, it's a season you have to go through of learning how to transfer your knowledge to others.
Yeah.
Right.
It's so that it's valuable.
Yeah. But to kind of like go back to like directly your question, it's kind of like you can't have both. Like you can't stay on the floor all day long. Let's call it, on the floor with it, like a boutique model, small gym, whatever, running sessions or PT sessions, whatever. And also look at the business from a strategic level, find the constraints, go to work on that, increase your marketing, work on your lead nurture, have more sales conversations, like all those things, if you're tied up over here. And so you just have to ask yourself, like, what's the most important thing to you?
Yeah.
And if it is, and I think people become unhappy when they just don't make the decision. Like, if you're happy training clients all day, and that means that there's a cap on your business, but you're happy, cool. Like people talk about building a 6-figure gym or 7-figure gym, whatever. That's not everyone's goal.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great point.
But if you wake up and you're frustrated and that's what you're doing, well, then you have to seek somebody that got out of like actually, follow somebody that has actually gotten to where you are. And most likely what's going to happen is they're going to say you have to change, what you're spending your time on. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, that's a great call out. I could only pick three mistakes, but that is
I'm sure we could pick like 4. 20 more if we put our heads into it. But last thing I want to kind of touch on for people that are in that early stage pre-opening, you recently did an Ask Me Anything on Reddit, which audience highly recommend that you check that out. That was lots of great insights in there. So I read through that. But you had said, really key point, that the gyms that reach profitability the fastest are the ones that are selling aggressively before the doors even open. So
Yeah.
to you, what does a well-executed pre-launch campaign actually look like? So yeah, what is that selling aggressively?
For a long time, I think a lot of gyms just never did that. They were like, if I build it, they will come, right? And now with social and paid ads and everything like that, I think, there's more and more, kind of pre-launch. There's a lot more gyms understanding pre-launch matters. But I would say a successful pre-launch is a real good mix of organic grassroots, boots on the ground, shaking hands, getting to know the community, partnerships with businesses. And it really comes down to just almost acting like the business is already open,
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah. Like you've gotta, it's fine if the paint's not dry. It's fine if you don't have all your equipment, some of the most successful gyms we've seen in terms of their early stage, they had the team in the building and the team outside the building, and it was like marketing, sales, and just really drumming up. And they had a goal of like, whether it's the founding 50 or the founding 500 or whatever it is, really making sure that they had a target, not just for how the place looks, but how the actual P&L is going to look the day they open, right? Like how many clients are we actually going to sign, how many memberships, and just stop at nothing until you get that goal. But tactically speaking, we see paid ads, right around that 90-day mark before the doors open, is generally like a sweet spot for that.
Okay,
but
great.
I'd say some kind of special offer only available to, you could call it founding members or whatever it is,
Yeah.
really moves the needle. But just one tip on this, just make sure it's real.
Yeah.
Like there's kind of a lot of like, offers, and it's like only 10 spots left but like one of the, just people see through that stuff. Like really, when you create an offer, sell with integrity, do something special for those people that help you get that business off the ground, and take care of them. But yeah, I mean, 3 to 6 months out, paid ads, 3 months out for sure, and have a target for, for selling memberships.
Yeah. And I imagine like being really clear too, kind of in the background of that is being really clear on your brand, your target audience, target client, whatever it is, who you're serving as well, all kind of plays into making those ads successful. And we'll go more into, I'm sure, like what made, you guys are all about the paid ads and making them obviously a success. But I imagine that plays a big role in it.
On that, I think, a lot of people kind of want to, a lot of people have post anxiety, meaning like, should I post this? I don't know. Like,
yeah.
Document the journey of building the damn thing,
Yeah.
Like there's a gym actually that did it really, really well here in Connecticut recently. And I was just following their Instagram, and I had no interest in seeing this gym. It's like 40 minutes away, and I heard it was opening, whatever. But they were posting so much about their updates and this and that. And guys, check this out. And we just added this. And as they were signing people up and doing tours and all this stuff, they kept sharing it. And I saw this just like progression of the whole thing coming together. And then like they kind of won me over. I'm like, this is pretty. You're
invested in the story.
Yeah. And it's not about just the building, it's about the people. And I feel like I know them. So I could walk in, there's no anxiety about like, what's this place like? I get the vibe already. And that's a big thing right now with, businesses, local service-based brick and mortar, especially gyms, is that organic, real content is more important than anything.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like it used to be, you could throw an ad up and people would fill out a form. People would walk in. They want to know your vibe. They want to know what you're all about. So if you're not doing that, lean in, whether it's pre-launch, whether you've been in business for 10 years, if your organic content is not like 10 out of 10, like that's a huge place for you to take your business to the next level. Yeah.
I really love that you touch on that because you're so right. So many people are so focused on the paid ads and conversions, but I think you said it in a post that you made a while back is that, that's what gets them in the door. That's their first intro is seeing your ad. But then after they see the ad, what are they going to do? Go to your pages and they're going to start creeping on you and they're going to start looking through your posts and getting a feel for who you are. And that's where the organic is so important. And I really just I appreciate you mentioning that because I think a lot of people don't understand why organic is so valuable. And it's really like your resume, like your portfolio once they come.
It is. Right? And it's so crazy. We have all these conversations so often. I just had a conversation about this with the director of coaching here at Gym. So years ago, like when websites came out, okay? Like I'm talking a long time ago. This is ridiculous. If someone didn't have a website, it's like, and then we got to a certain point where like, if you don't have a website, like I don't trust you.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
Okay. And then eventually, and then eventually it was another platform. It was like, if you don't have a Facebook page, I don't trust you. Right. So for a while there, the last several years, it was like, all right, if I go to your Instagram and you're not like up to date, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. Maybe you just don't use social media. No,
Yeah.
we're past that. We're in this new era of just like, it's just like if you didn't have a website back then. If you're not posting, the trust drops,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know if you're relevant. I don't know what you're hiding. I don't know what this is about.
You don't look
Are you even
legitimate.
open?
Hmm.
Yeah, you don't look legit. And so it's just interesting that it kind of like, that's just what happens over time. And now consumers, they want more transparency, more visibility, more convenience than ever before. And between your ad, between your Google reviews, between your website, between your social, they're kind of putting it all together to make a story about you. And just kind of wrap it up. What happens, at least what we see, is like, all right, so if somebody sees your ad or somebody sees, whatever, what happens is they're going to go to your social and one of two things happen, right? They're either going to take a step forward, closer to you, or step away and go somewhere else.
Yeah.
So it's like a good question, like a good exercise, for you. It's just like as a gym owner, open your Instagram, open your TikTok, whatever, and say like, is this helping, attract, or do you think people may open this and be like, I'm good?
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of gyms are secretly kind of like helping other gyms. And what I mean by that is they're running ads, they're waking people up. People are interested in starting a gym. They hop over to their organic. They're like, not this place. And then they go to another gym.
Yeah. They
You
recognize
know?
the problem now. Yeah.
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 Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's more relevant now than ever before. It's a really big deal.
No, absolutely. So I want to get a little bit more into, because I know that one of the ways that Gym Launch supports gyms and studios is by installing these proven marketing, sales, operational systems. And we've talked a bit about systems in the beginning, but now I really want to kind of dig into a little bit more of the details of what those systems actually look like, and really
Okay.
just like share some tactical takeaways with the audience that they can go out there right now, little things that are easy to stick in their memory. And so there's one thing that you made a video on called the 30-40-30 rule. So
Oh yeah.
this goes back to knowing your numbers, obviously, and why that's so important. How your finances really affect your overall success and health of your business. So yeah, let's talk about that. Can you share a little bit about that? Just like a high level. People can go watch the video if they want to deep dive into it. But
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, it's a super simple framework, right? And it definitely has helped a ton of gym owners just wrap their mind around like, well, where should my money be flowing, right? Like revenue comes in. And then for a lot of gyms, at the end of the month, there's just not enough in their pocket. That's what they know, right? A lot of gym owners. And so, just at its simplest form, it's kind of just a little guiding principle of where you should kind of look to cap your payroll at, cap your expenses at, so that overall your profitability is in a strong spot. So, I'll just cover it real quick. So, 30-40-30 rule states that you should basically 30-40, yeah, the 30-40-30 rule states that basically you should never go over 30% on payroll, right, of your revenue, right? So if you have $100,000 of revenue, you shouldn't have more than, let's say, $30,000 of payroll, or more common, $20,000 of revenue, you shouldn't go over $6,000 of payroll, right? Now, this is key though. That includes the salary to the owner. So I'll get back to that later, but 30-40-30 is 30% of your revenue towards payroll, less than 40% to other expenses, all other. So that would include rent, that would include utilities, that would include marketing costs, like all the things. And if you do that, if you're not above 30 here and you're not above 40 here, what that means is that leaves at least 30% left over for profit, right? And generally speaking, we see, especially on like the, kind of boutique or like the smaller micro gym, model, that's a really good framework to operate within, up to the 30, 40, $50,000 a month. Now on the health club side, we see you can actually be way more profitable. A lot of clubs, especially in the higher revenue, clubs, that's not that, just kind of like, that's more of a starter framework.
okay, gotcha.
But it really is good because a lot of gym owners just have no frame of reference.
Yeah.
What am I shooting for? That kind of thing. And in the early days, any profit feels good, right?
Yeah.
So I just want to go back to the owner's revenue,
Yeah,
or the
I was
owner's
good to get
salary for a
back.
second.
Yeah, I want to hear more about that.
Well, I mean, I made this mistake for a long time, is that you have a business and all of a sudden you start blowing your own personal expenses through the business, and you're kind of, you're on payroll, maybe you're not on payroll, maybe you're taking a draw sometimes, and just the numbers are messy all the time. One of the best things we could possibly do, like as a business owner, is to get clear on the numbers, keep your books tight, and really just pay yourself a reasonable amount of what it would cost to replace you. And what I mean by that is if you're in the gym and you're a manager, right, you're effectively being the location manager, you should pay yourself, right, whatever it would cost to replace you from that position. The reason for that is that it gives you a clear picture of the health of the business.
Yeah.
Right. And because at a certain point, you may want to step out of that like operator role and be a little bit more strategic and work on the business and be a CEO. And you can only do that if you are profitable above and beyond taking care of that salary, right? And it's already accounted for, and you can step out of that, hire somebody, and now obviously you still have the profit. So
yeah.
Anyway, to wrap it all up, 30-40-30 rule is just of your revenue, 30% or less should go to payroll, 40% or less should go to expenses so that you've got at least 30% profit left over.
Okay, we're back in it. So so the team here at ABC Fitness, we recently just released an ebook on AI that's for fitness business owners, operators, with the core argument that most gym owners have adopted AI. So maybe they've started using some tools, and they've just kind of got all these different things now in place, but nothing's really integrated all together. Like you said, these creating distractions and maybe creating extra noise. So from where you sit, is that matching what you're actually seeing in the field, in the industry with your clients? And where does AI actually move the needle versus where is it just a distraction?
Yeah, I think AI is going to be really interesting to just follow in general, right? Like it seems that it's like leaps and bounds not years now, it's like every week or two, there's some massive update. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So I'm not going to I can't predict where we're going to be in 6 months or whatever, a year. But what I can say is anytime some new technology comes out, someone's going to figure out, an arbitrage, right, somewhere of like, how do we leverage this? How do we get a disproportionate return, right? Outsized returns by using this. I would just caution gym owners to protect their time and attention, make sure that they are not tinkering and not, it's not a distraction for them. That's the one thing. But where I think it's right now helpful for gym owners is content for sure, right?
Yeah.
Like creating content, creating valuable, guides or, things, documents, SOPs, systems for their teams or, content for marketing and whatever. Like it's just part of the game now. It's not even a question, right?
Yeah. You have to adopt it.
And you have to adopt it. Yeah. And so if you haven't, just lean in and have some fun.
Yeah.
Where we see it really moving the needle on the business, I would say is there's two places. So number one is going to be lead nurture. So a lot of times, like just getting back in touch with people, speed to lead, having conversations, it's just hard. Gym owners are generally tied up either on the floor or have a sales conversation, like whatever. And so if you haven't implemented some kind of AI conversational bot tool, text or even voice now is coming along at an incredible pace. Just to be able to reach out and make that touch point with the customer, that's a place that we see really helping just, with gym owners. So, in Gym Launch, what we've done is we create an AI kind of assistant for gyms so that when
so
the lead comes in,
proprietary.
So when a lead comes in, if the gym's not available, it kind of kicks on and just asks some questions, warms it up. And it's, it's transparent that you don't even have to hide that it's AI now.
Yeah.
You can just say hey, this is an AI bot, or just whatever, we're busy real quick just to make sure we're not wasting anybody's time and we can help you out. Yeah. And then you can take them down the track of scheduling an appointment, and all of a sudden that's super convenient, or, whatever it is. So, lead nurture is, we call it it's like the blue collar, ditch digging of the business model. It's just so hard. It happens to you and you have to do it. And for a lot of gym owners that want to grow their gyms, especially if they have good marketing, that actually is a big constraint and a big pain. Yeah. And so if you're not using AI inside your lead nurture, I'd say, jump on that right away. And then the other one real quick is just analyzing data.
Yeah.
Analyzing the data of who's walking in the door, who's missing classes. Are there, can you recognize trends among, the people that do exit or put in cancellations? Can you go upstream a little bit? I'd say the final one here where it's going to make an impact is just analyzing data. Yeah. Right. So when you're able to actually look at just the habits and the trends across your member base and be able to see the leading indicators on who might churn, right? Or even who's a good candidate to upgrade to a different program, or like
Mm-hmm.
any of those
Yeah.
things. Like
Upsells.
that's really, yeah, I think that's really where gym owners are going to win, is understanding not just having access to the data, but then understanding how to look at it and then pair it with the right business operations to move the needle, right, based on the data itself. And so, yeah, I mean, we've got a lot. We're exploring a ton in Gym Launch. When it comes to AI, with any tool, with any tech, I think it can be a distraction. We have a saying when we're coaching people is just don't get fancy. Like
Yeah.
sometimes, like
Yeah.
growing your gym and everything in your business, sometimes it's a lot simpler than people make it out to be. So,
Sometimes simple is best, right?
yep,
Yeah.
yep,
Start is that lead nurturing and leading
right,
indicators. Yeah. So
yeah.
those insights to kind of give you to understand where people are dropping, where you might be able to upsell, and yeah.
Yeah, at its simplest form, my team used to track attendance,
Yeah.
manually. Like, all right, who came 3 times this week? Who came 2 times this week? Right.
Yeah.
So if AI can kind of take that over, but then also look at who exited, and then also look back and say, are there any trends among their attendance patterns or anything else,
Yeah.
right? So that we can get ahead of this. And maybe it's not that they're dropping off. Maybe it'll tell you whatever. It seems like 5:45 a.m. sessions have a higher churn rate, than whatever your evening one. So that'll help you say, well, maybe that team member, whoever runs those sessions, needs a little more support and a little more
Yeah.
training. So there's it can just save you time. There's so much truth in just data and numbers and story. There's a whole story underneath your business right now of what's happening. And I think a lot of gym owners, well, really, we just don't have the time and visibility in it. And
Yeah.
so if AI can kind of surface just, hey, this is what's happening, and then gym owners can have the guidance of like, oh, with somewhere like us, like a mentor or some kind of business coach, to be like, well, if that's the truth, this is what we should now do with that information. I think that's where you win.
Really quick before we get into our last question, I want to just one last note on AI, because I think we've talked a lot. I think you're really making it seem less scary, because I think a lot of people are frightened of it right now because it is changing so quickly. But
Yeah.
where's one place that you don't see AI as being beneficial? So it's like, where do you really need that human touch? If you could pick any part of the process,
Oh,
sales,
yeah.
marketing, service, where is the one point that you think you personally believe that we should not be outsourcing to AI?
Listen, I think people join gyms because, for the most part, people want to kind of, shift something in their life. They want to look better, feel better, whatever it is. But a lot of times they stay due to relationships.
Yeah.
And so you can't outsource that part of your business to AI. And so when you say, service or support or whatever you want to call it, really, like, the person at the front desk, the person that picks up the phone, the outreach to check in on your members, like that stuff, maybe there's a way AI can support you in being more efficient with that, or knowing who to talk to. But like, I really think that the what we see is the gyms that are winning now, and it's a tough market, right? Like, lead cost is up. Like, there's all these, like, TikTok is this, Instagram. Like, where should I go for marketing? Like, people's attention span almost is, it feels like,
Yeah.
is a little different. The gym owners that are really focused on relationships, not just to get the sale, but to keep the customer, those are the gyms that are going to thrive.
Yeah.
And so I would just like say, you can't outsource that part of your business.
I'll be clipping that right there. That was a great that was a great thought.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mike. So we always close the show with the same question for all of our guests. So Mike, what excites you most about the future of the fitness industry right now, or what shift are you watching most closely?
Man, we just hit on AI, which is an obvious one. I think it's going to help gym owners just run more profitable businesses where they can serve customers at a high level, at a more personalized level as well. So that's a big one. But also just kind of the emergence of peptides, and I know for a lot of you guys, it's like emergence. It's like this been around for a long time. I get that, you're in this world, but for a lot of the people that you want to help, your future customers, this is all brand new, and many of them have no idea about it. And so seeing gym owners be the experts in helping people explore that in a healthy way,
Yeah, like a guide.
right? A guide, I think, is really a huge opportunity. And whether that's, you integrate it into your offerings and, all that, and it's a revenue stream or not, but you can be somebody that can actually guide them in a world and a time that's actually kind of like a little dangerous and a little scary. And people are injecting themselves with like a lot of
It's very
wild
scary
stuff.
in a lot of ways.
Yeah, there's the gray market, that kind of stuff. But there are a lot of people that need help with whether it's food addictions or being just they've been in different gym environments, they've never found their place. And there are so many people, whether it's obesity, whether it's body confidence issues, there are so many people that need our help. And when I say our help, it's just people in the gym industry, right? And this is just one more thing that the general population is reaching at, to think this is going to help me, this is going to solve all my problems. And there's a lot of dangers that come with it. And with that comes a huge opportunity for gym owners to help the general population, right? Integrate it into their lives in a safe way, or give them a healthier, better alternative than that, right? In a way that's going to really, seriously transform their life. So those two are really big. There's a lot of attention, right, on AI and peptides. And with that is an opportunity for gym owners to insert themselves in that in any way that feels right for your brand, right? And do it in a way, that's right for you, and do it in a way where you can help more people. So I'd say those are the two. There's a lot of things we can keep talking. But those quick ones that come to mind here.
And I look forward to watching, gym launches and your personal socials, your pages, to see what you guys come out with in those areas too, and like what you're going to be recommending as advice for gym owners, because there is a huge opportunity. Anytime there's a big thing like this, there's a lot of opportunity to be had.
Yeah, don't stay out of the conversation. That's the big thing. And you guys, just gym owners out there, there's so many people that need you, and the opportunity's never been bigger. Right, to help people, with the platforms of everybody basically has their own, distribute like television network like in their hand now, and there's all this talk about peptides and stuff. So I'm excited. I'm excited for gym owners. Yeah.
Well, I think that's a great, very high, very uplifting note to end the conversation on today. So, Mike, before you leave us here, I'd love for you to just kind of plug yourself, plug Gym Launch. How can people find you? How can they get in touch if they want to work with Gym Launch? Just plug all the things here.
Gym Launch, like I said earlier, we exist for gym owners to help you guys build businesses, the business that you want. Generally, that means, more leads, more members, and really just more freedom. So if you're interested, getting to know a little bit more about Gym Launch, you can go to gymlaunch.com. We're on YouTube, we're on Instagram, you can find us. We'd love to have a conversation about where your gym is, and, just kind of look under the hood a little bit and look at the metrics, look at the numbers, and see if there's a way we can help grow revenue, grow profit, and just, help you overall.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Mike. It's been an honor and a pleasure, and I'm sure we'll be back again with either with you or a member of your team, because there's so many things that we didn't even get to cover that we'd love to dive into further. But thank you so much, and thank you everybody in the audience for watching. Hope you enjoyed this episode, and make sure you follow us at Fireside Fitness, ABC Fitness, for more conversations just like this. Thank you so much.